Today we're going to talk about programming the PM42 made by Digitrax and some of the wiring on it, so as you can see right here. So let's get started right now. I'm Tom Kvichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And on that railroad, we're going to talk about hooking up a PM42. Now what that does, it gives you districts, 4 separate districts for your layout. Now the reason I use it on my layout, because it makes it easier to troubleshoot if there's a problem on it. Say for instance I have a locomotive or something that goes off and fouls the track and it shuts down the system. Well, with the PM42, it's only going to shut down the one section, the one district that you have for that set on the PM42. If you didn't have the PM42 in there, it would shut down your whole operation. So what the PM42 does is you make your railroad into districts, and then you could troubleshoot it a lot easier. So say we got the short in section 1. Well, knowing that where section 1 is from a drawing that you make up for yourself, you could go and check those specific areas without having to worry about the other 3 areas on your railroad. And your operation can keep on going in the other 3 districts while that one is shorted out. That's the good thing about it. And as long as you have the short in it, it will beep and it will shine a little LED on there. So that makes it a lot easier to troubleshoot, and that's why I got it. All right. On the board itself, you have pins. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all the way up to 22. Okay? On the other side, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, H, and J, all the way up to Z. That's what it looks like. The numbers are the inputs. The letters are the outputs. All except for right here. This is the power. 1 and 2 isn't used. And A isn't used. So you get your power from 3 and C. I'll use that as a power supply. And B, that goes to ground. Remember that terminal on your booster that was right next to track A and B? It said ground. That's what you hook it up to, right there on that terminal there. Every section has 4 terminals on it. So for section 1, it's 4, 5, 6, and 7, and D, E, F, and H. Move that out of the way right there. For clarity's sake, all right? That's your input. There. And I don't have a black, so we're going to use green and red. So both of those go back to your track A and B on your power unit. That's all. That's all that goes on that side. Now, your output, I'll do it here. Track A and track B are on E and F. And if you're using a different section, it's going to be the 2 center terminals on that section. You have 4 terminals for each section. So the 2 in the center are going to go to your track. The 2 on the outside, on the input side, is going to your power source. So when you're doing this, you could jumper your wires like this all the way across in all 4 sections. And say this is 11. Okay? So you could go all 4 sections just like that. Let me move this down a little bit further. Okay, so that's your inputs. This is your outputs. That is the only thing you have to worry about for the section. Now, if you want to use this as a reversing section, all you have to do in the wiring is jumper E to 5 and F to 6. That's it. And this becomes a reversing section wiring wise. But you have to do some in the programming. And that's what I'm going to show you a little bit later on after I get rid of this. The default setting on the op switches on your PM42, everything is thrown, T. Okay, and the PM42 could be used on any system, not just Digitrax. It could be used on any system. So I'm going to take and show you the auto reversing. So if you wanted to set the auto reversing, switch 6, 14, 22, and 30. Those are the op switches that you have to worry about. Okay? Remember, T is your default setting. So if you want to change it, let me get on this side over here. If you want to change it and make all 3 of these or any one of these a reversing section, you use reversing section for section 1, op switch 6, put the C. Any one of these. But let's say only section 1 you want to use for your reversing section, and the rest of them you're using for a district. You don't have to change them because they're already thrown. All you have to do is change section 1 for C. Now that's all it is on that one there. The trip current. Now they have a grid that shows you how to set the trip current and what they are, but it's kind of confusing. So I'm going to show you the first couple of ones. They only show you 3 and 6, and then they put the 1.5 down here, and they put the 4.5 down there, and it makes it a little bit confusing. And you got 3 op switches, 1, 2, and 9 that you have to set. Now remember, okay, 3 amps is the default, so all of these are T. So if you just want to keep it as 3 amps, you just keep it a T. Now, if you wanted 1.5 amps, you go thrown, closed. And that's all there is to it. All you have to do is change the 9, op switch 9, and that'll make your trip current 1.5. Say you want to make it 4.5. It's close, thrown, close. So all you have to do is change op switch 1 and op switch 9. 6. Okay, that's going to be thrown. This is going to be thrown, and that's going to be closed. So all you have to do is change op switch number 1. And on down the line. Now this gives you an idea how it is, but the way that they show it, they show your 3, and then they go 1.5 below it. And then they say on the 1.5, C. And then they put a little note over here about op switch 9, which makes it a little bit confusing, and I just wanted to clarify that for you on there. Now there's one other thing that you could do is short circuit sensitivity. And you don't have to mess with that unless you're using a reversing section in it. So normally you have slow, standard, fast, and faster. I'll put ER. Okay? So standard, you know, is going to be a T and a T. And the op switches that we're doing on there, I'll do it for section 1. It's 3 and 5. So if you want slow, it's T and C. Standard is T and T. Fast is C and C. And faster is C and T. So this is section 1. Section 2 is 11 and 13, and you do it the same way. Section 3 is 19 and 21. Section 4 is 27 and 29. And this is sensitivity. Short circuit sensitivity, and that's what you look at on there. There's only one more thing that you have to do in the programming, and that is if you want to put a number on your unit. Say like I showed you with the DS64, I give it each one a specific number. And if you're going to be using it on a computer, then you're going to want to identify your PM42. You want to know what it is. You want to be able to tell the computer that this one is, and we'll just pick a random number, 12. So what you do is, and I'll show you how to go through it on the unit itself, but it's just like anything else. You go on there in the thing, you click number 12, switch number 12, hit enter, and it's done, and you get back out of it. It's real easy. All you have to do is break it down into sections. When you look at all the drawings on there, and the drawings make it really complicated, because here's the book right here. And as you can see, that's going to confuse you right there. And where's that big graph? That's going to confuse you right there. All of that I just discussed. Here's the big one here. Where's the big thing right here? This is the one that's going to get you. Okay? I told you what that was in the first section. So that's all there is to it. It's pretty tight underneath the layout here. And I got my PM42. I have one end of it hooked up to my throttle, and it's on idle right now. And the other end is connected to the command station. Okay, I'm going to put this up, power on, and you can see this comes out of idle. Okay, now it tells you if, now I could disconnect this, and there's a jumper right here, and I could put the jumper across the two pins and then disconnect this from the command station, and it'll still work. But I'm going to do it like it is. I have it connected to the command station, and I'm going to press the ID button. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay, now it's ready to take a command. I'm going to set the board address, so I'm going to hit switch and 65, because that's what I have set it as already. So you hit 65, and then down here you do the closed on the C. And once it takes the address, it goes back to a solid green light, and so you know it took the address of 65. And that's all it is for the address. You want to give it an address if you want it controlled by a computer. If you have more than one PM42, or you have other components like I have the DS64s on her, you can see right up here, you need to assign an address, and that's why I assign an address to all the components on there. Now, right now I have all of them set up as divisions, so I don't have to change anything on there. But at one time I had the fourth section set up as a reversing section, and what I did was on these terminals over here, I just jumpered them all the way straight through. The outputs are on the other side. It's kind of hard to see from where I'm at, but the two in the center on the opposite side are the outputs. This is the input here. I got this going to a switch, which changes it over to a program track. Okay, this little terminal board is the ground wire. Now they want you to put the ground wire into your command station, but here's the ground wire over here. Okay, all these go to a terminal board back there, and the ground wire right here goes to this terminal board and then to the command station. If you want to change one of the sections to a reversing section, I'm just going to show you for 4. Okay, it's op switch 30, and you want to change it to a C. So what you do here is you hold down this button right here for a second. Okay, so it's supposed to alternate. I guess you got to hold it longer than a second. There it is. Okay, so now it's ready to take the command. So, like I said, op switch 30 is for section 4. So you just go over here. It's already on switch, and we'll do, I'll clear it out, 040, okay, and it says push it to closed. Okay, so now it's set up as a auto reversing. I'll set it back to, okay, it's at, okay, let me get it all up here. It's set to C. I'm going to set it back to short circuit management. So now it's back to there. So once you get the command in, you just hit this again for a second, and it goes back to a solid green. And that's all you have to do. And you could do that for any of the options on here. Now, if you wanted to change the amperage on it, say like I showed you in the one thing, and here's what it looks like in the manual. See where it said I have the 3 amps circled, and underneath it has 1.5 amps with option switch C. And see where it says option switch 9 right above the 3 amps and over to the left for op switch 2. See, that what makes it a little bit confusing, and it might, you know, somebody might not understand what that is, so that's why I explained it and put it in a different way. But that's all you have to do. And so I'll go through the steps. I'll set it back at 3 amps. So 3 amps is going to be TTT for 1, 2, and 9. So we'll try that. Okay. So option switch 1, T, it's already T, so I'll just hit it again, T. Option switch 2, I'll go O, 2 and hit T. And option switch 9, and I'll hit T. Okay, so that makes it 3 amps. Now, if I had it set for something else, it's going to change it back to 3 amps, but 3 amps is the default setting on it. So what I'm going to do is just press this button, and we're finished with it. And that's all there is to programming the PM42. Now, like I said, you could do it without connecting to the command station. I have it connected to the command station because I'll probably lose this little jumper that's right here. It's sitting on a pin, and you got to use it with the tweezers and then, you know, put it on there and do it with the power out. But since I'm underneath here, I would have to make a couple of trips because I can't reach the off switch from here sitting on the floor. But that's all there is to it. Now here I am, I'm on the floor, back in the corner. There's the PM42 right there, and there's the layout right there. And there's a subwoofer right here, there's my router right here. And right there on that bracket is where, and let me try to get it away from the light, is where I had the tablet. I had to use a tablet to do the video because it's too close and too crowded for a camera. So I'm pulling this out a little bit to let you see what it looks like here. Now when I do the video for model railroading for beginners and I show you how to connect everything to JMRI, you'll be able to see all the settings on all your devices at one time. And that is where I was, right down in there. And that little cushion right there is a lifesaver for when you're underneath the layout. So, if you would like to see more instructions like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know why? Because it's free. Yes, it is free. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit that subscribe button. And it doesn't cost you a thing to hit that bell either. And that'll notify you whenever I have a video coming out. And if you would like to support this channel, go ahead and check out my Patreon page. I have a link down in the description. You could also do it with Tom's Trains and Things. Leave a comment. I like to read your comments. You could do them down below here. And let me know what you think about all this. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Share the video, tell your friends about it. And visit my webpage. I put a lot of stuff on my web pages. On the web page and the pages on there, I put new stuff on there all the time. We got some more stuff coming up. Don't forget to wait. At the beginning of June, I'm not sure exactly what date it is, on a Saturday, I'll have model railroading for beginners, hooking up your Digitrax and all this stuff here to JMRI on your computer. So look for that. It's coming up, and we'll see ya. Oh yeah, hit that subscribe button there, hit the Patreon thing here, and I got some videos right here.